Okay, and we're back to whatever the fuck this is. Thanks for joining us again. I've got Alex and Naweid in the
What's up, guys? Naweid.
Yeah.
I'm Alex.
What?
Well, scuffed our head. No, but all ruin is empathy.
Listen here, motherfucker. Last time we were talking about empathy a little bit. It's hard to kind of start things talking that way, but I did have a specific idea empathy-wise that I wanted to get into, and we'll see how this goes. Okay. So one thing that I always found neat, and it's not directly related to empathy, but kind of is. Okay, you know how yawning is like one of the, if not maybe the only kind of contagious thing that you could do? I mean, there's contagious laughter. I brought this up when we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but yawning is like it's almost like an involuntary thing. And it's you start feeling something that someone else is feeling when a yawn kind of happens. And in my head, that means that empathy kind of plays into it somewhere. It's like an empathy kind of response. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I always found that kind of interesting, because I don't think there's an explanation for it. As far as like at the moment, I don't think there's any reason that people you could yawn even when you're not tired, but I don't think there's any reason necessarily that people do yawn, or any reason that it's something that other people react to. And there's some kind of weird, maybe old kind of human things being triggered when that happens. And I think it's some kind of like ancient kind of empathy response or action. And I always found that kind of neat. I don't know if
I think it is linked to empathy. I do feel like it is.
Right?
Like,
because
I guess like if you yawn, like it does reveal a certain like character to yourself, like in a degree where you do feel more empathy than other people. Like I think there has been tests about this.
Like because
I'm pretty sure in psychology there's been tests about this for different types of people, like how they react.
I mean, what is empathy? Empathy is like feeling, right?
Yeah, empathy is like being able to recognize something that someone else is feeling. And I had heard somewhere that like a psychopath cannot yawn reactively. If you yawn in front of someone that is actually diagnosed psychopath, they will not react with a yawn ever, because that's a part of being a psychopath. Is it's like a real lack of empathy. So
actually, one second, Mitch, you want to lower this chair a bit more?
Yeah,
get more comfy.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's all good.
Right?
Well, because like when you yawn, it triggers something that you're sleepy, you're tired.
Yeah, but
like, and also like when you see someone who's sad or crying, you feel a bit like sad.
Yes,
and it puts like a downer in your mood.
That's empathy for real. But what's weird about the yawning is that you could not even necessarily be like, you're not like, oh yeah, I'm tired too. Before that, it kind of makes you like, it's involuntary, the reaction about it. That's what makes it a little bit more special in my head. That it's something that's got to be. It's definitely something to do with empathy, but it also, there must be some old weird evolutionary kind of thing, you know? Like,
I just think it just triggers something within us.
Yeah,
it's probably like just like a
yawning. Oh shit, it's tired.
It's just a social trait. Like I think like if one person yawns,
like I could be happy and I see someone sad and crying, I'm gonna feel a bit sad.
Yeah, but
I guess it just triggers something.
I guess it's true. It's not a controlled reaction.
There could be something behind it. I guess I'm just looking at it.
Well, it depends.
No,
it depends though. Like let's say you're seeing someone yawn, right? Is it a stranger, or it's more of like a friend / family member, someone that you know and you've conversed with before and you have like a genuine bond with?
That's true. I wonder if that's a thing. If like yawning from a stranger,
because it might be a factor in terms, because like you care to be more, sympathetic and empathetic towards
people that
you know. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be one of those things, like a general clan bonding type of thing, like who extends to based on who you know.
Yes, I'm gonna next level this a little bit. If we're ready, we're on the same page, right? That yawning is to do with empathy. It's you're tapping into like something that someone else is feeling when you're yawning, and it's as much as you could do that with a laugh and a cry or whatever. It is a little bit weirder with yawning, right? In how like it's like an action that you do and it's completely involuntary.
Yeah.
Is that? Like you don't really, the think part doesn't happen. You could think someone's sad, and then when you feel sad with them, you're thinking it. But a yawn is really just a thing that your body does completely outside of your control, or like it's unconscious completely, right? Are we on the kind of?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but like I'm at the same point when, for me, if I hear someone that's crying, I get sad. Like I'm not thinking. It just I don't,
Maybe you're extra empathy person. I don't know. I get.
I see what
maybe,
he's saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, I feel bad for them, but not. I guess I can call that. Yeah, like you
It
feel bad for them
is,
for a
yeah.
point, but like you don't feel as sad as you would if you actually knew the person. I don't know, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true.
Like just that extra level of connection isn't there to like bring me to that extra level where like I deeply care. You know?
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, it's sad. You know, it's too bad what happened, but like you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
of
just
course.
that's how I see it. You
The
know?
closeness to you to the person is gonna affect like how.
Yeah, exactly. At least for me.
But let me take you guys to the next level thing a little bit. This is a tangent, but give me a fucking moment because I thought about this a couple years ago and I haven't really put it out into words too clearly. I think this is a great time.
yeah.
Give me a check this shit out. This here. You know the evil eye for Greeks.
Yeah,
Mate.
Mate, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Mate, bro.
Quick explanation for the lads, the fucking peoples and friends that don't have any idea. Mate is in English they say it's the evil eye, but evil eye isn't really a great word for it. Mate just means eye in Greek, and what you're basically referring to is when someone has that, they're affected by it. It's like you're affected by people thinking about you negatively.
It's negative energy.
It's like an
is
energy.
what
No,
it
but the thing is,
described as negative energy.
Yeah, but even a lot of people just focusing on you, even if it's not entirely negative, is still mati. Like you could be.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's why I think the evil eye part of it is a little bit because people like just even when they think really highly of you or they haven't seen you in a long time or there's a it's completely positive in nature. People thinking about you, you could still that still ties into the whole mati thing, right? But here's how I'm gonna work this in with the previous part. If you guys are fucking okay.
I'm listening.
Okay,
We're ready. We're ready.
He's ready.
Okay, so when someone has mati, there's a old Greek kind of witchcraft thing that you do, which is the xematiasma, which means the removal of the mati, right?
I've seen it at my workworkplace.
Okay, yeah, exactly, and that's
we have.
yeah, and that's a
Not
thing.
close to Titi.
Yeah, and the way that
So,
that,
Titi, we love you.
so, hey, the way that works is there's some words that you say. It's like a chant thing, like not a chant. It's what's the anyways. There's words that you say as a person trying to take away that energy from someone else, right? And you repeat them in like a prayer-like kind of way. And what you're supposed to be doing as the person doing the xematisma is you're kind of attacking that or like taking away from that energy going towards them kind of thing. Like the focus on them, you're kind of intercepting it. You're saying these words in like a prayer kind of way, which screws with it.
Okay.
How this ties in? The reaction to someone doing xematisma is uncontrollable yawning. Have you ever seen this happen in real life?
When you do,
Yeah. It's crazy. No,
And it-
I know.
makes you yawn.
Yeah, it does. Every single person that's good at it or that's done it yawns a lot.
Really? That I didn't
Hard.
know.
Hard.
Okay.
Hard,
Yeah,
hard,
I
hard.
don't know that.
Interesting.
A completely unexplainable phenomenon that I kind of tied in thinking about this stuff a little earlier. Yeah. So when there's a person with mati and a person trying to take the mati away from them and they're saying the words and doing whatever the little ritual that the Greeks have come up with to deal with this thing, believe it or not, this is a real response that happens to the person. They start yawning uncontrollably.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy talk, but I think that ties in here somewhere. I don't know how to explain it, but there's some kind of weird empathy thing that's at play in this too.
I don't know, it's an interesting connection. I'll give you that.
It's weird.
I can see where you're going with it, and okay, like I could support that view. Like in a way, like I could see it, but
But it's weird. Yeah, I know.
exactly. It's just weird. Like
It's really weird,
You know,
yeah.
you have to have an open mind, as they say.
No, but the thing
But
is,
yeah, it's interesting.
This isn't like a thought out kind of scientific.
I know,
kind of theory shit, but it is.
It happened 5 minutes ago. I know.
No, it had come to mind like earlier, maybe a year or so ago. I thought about this when somebody was talking about Mati stuff. But
Yeah.
point being, there's something going on there. Something strange. Something with empathy, yawning. Already, we agreed that there was something there, and
Yeah.
this extra layer of the Greek kind of witchcraft thing. To me, that makes it really neat. I find it cool as hell. And you were saying you had seen other people do it. Did you ever notice the?
I've never
Did you
seen.
pick up on it?
I've never seen anyone finish it though. Because Sotiri's only the only person I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And it was during a work shift, right? So I wasn't able to just sit there and like watch it all
Okay,
go
yeah.
down. But I've seen it like in action, you know, in the process, and
Yeah. sit straight a bit. Me, it's
That's
a big
interesting,
thing.
though.
My grandma is, because there's like people that are kind of the best at it, and they become known in their little family and extended circles. They'll be the go-to. Like if you feel like you have that, and the symptoms of it are, symptoms. Like it just, you feel down, or you feel like a weight on you, some kind of headache, or just like energy kind of drainage. And I think there's a reality to that, even without the Greek kind of magicalness to it. Like you could just be, social situations could affect a person, especially different kinds of people. There's all kinds of things like that, like people that are more introverted or more this or that. There's a real physiological response to focus on you and attention on you that could actually happen, right, to a person. Like that's a real thing, right? Like let's say you're a person with some kind of social anxiety, and a lot of people are talking to you or focusing on you. That could make you feel off, right?
No, for sure.
Now the thing about this is that this is just that at a distance, as far as I understand it. This is just people's intentions towards you. It could be in your face, or it could just be like it's just like a Wi-Fi version of that, like just a little bit further out.
Okay.
Which is weird. It's because then you're kind of out of the realm of, is this real, like actual measurable shit? But it seems like it's pretty much the same thing. And the tie into the yawning and the empathy, I think there's something there. I don't know. I think there's something there. Little theory guy.
No, yeah,
So you fucking smiling.
I'm processing.
Tell me I'm stupid. I know.
No, it's interesting.
There's something in there.
It's just interesting, all the connections that you made, I'm just like processing it all and just thinking back of like past experiences and what I've seen, and like things and how I felt.
I know,
just interesting.
Not a lot of people. I'm coming from a particular point, because my grandma is like the Mati person for our family and for even other people. Like I'll have aunts and uncles that are even further out, kind of call in to have her specifically do it, because
every Greek family has that.
Exactly,
it's the go-to, So
I know the yawning thing, because then my mom is the next level, pretty freaking good at it, kind of thing. She's yawning when she does it all the time. There was actually, I did it one time. I did it one time. The way this works, there's I don't know if because it's like it's old village kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
The way there was a point, my cousin thought she had it real bad. She had just like moved into a new place, or there was some things that happened, and there was a lot of focus on her. And my aunt wanted to help. My mom was already doing it, and my aunt wanted to help too. But my mom couldn't tell my aunt the words to say to do it, because apparently there's a rule where it has to be passed from woman to man and man to what, like it has to be.
Okay.
So they needed like an intermediate person. So I was like, yeah, I'll tell me the words and then I'll tell them to my aunt. So we're following the rules, kind of thing. And goofy shit, I know, but they wanted to do it right.
Yeah, okay.
And some people.
That's fine.
So I knew the words, and I tell it to my aunt, and she does it. And then I'm like, I'm gonna try a little bit too, While we're at this, we're all like 3 people, like focus firing like the evil forces and shit. No, it's sick. It's way. Dude, I yawned. Yeah, plenty. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay.
It was sick. It was weird.
That's interesting.
Dude, it's weird. It's so strange.
I know I keep saying interesting, but it is though. Like it's
strange.
Okay. Yeah, it's very strange.
And it's hard to measure in any kind of way, but it's just, there's something there. With yawning being some weird response that is empathic, or whatever the word would be in some way. And this Greek kind of witchcraft thing, where you're trying to feel the way, like help someone with what they're feeling, and your reaction being yawning. I don't know how you could convince a scientist of it, but there's
that's the thing. It's like some things you can't really prove them yet, as we, anything. But I don't know. There's definitely, I think there's different dimensions, I guess. Like I believe there's another like realm of, in terms of energy, and I don't know. I've always felt that way, not 100% like I believe ghosts, but like there's there's a certain level of energy, like like another plane, I believe, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, just some
I believe
things.
in like the spiritual.
Spiritual. Yes, exactly. That's exactly the word that I wanted to use.
Yeah, I'm 100% on the same page.
I believe in the Mati and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have the bracelets and stuff.
Dude, same. Let's go. I mean,
I'm not wearing it now.
Oh, what the heck? Yeah.
Mandela.
we got this on all the time. Yeah, talk a little bit about your, if you want to freaking talk, but what's like define your idea as far as what's real, kind of extra stuff on top of the world. What makes sense in your head?
Well, like spiritual
Yeah,
stuff?
talk about
Like
paranormal. Hit me up with any of it. Hit me up with some of your
Paranormal and like
Well,
spiritual are two different things. I would think.
could be.
Actually, maybe not.
Close
It's kinda-
enough.
yeah, I guess. But like, it depends how.
I mean,
how
I
far you
believe
put the
in the evil
spectrum.
eye. I believe in like people looking at you and like they're envious of you
Yeah.
and like they want to drain your energy and stuff.
Yes.
Call them like energy vampires.
Yeah, see, like, so, and see, without even tying in the whole, like, there's a evil eye thing to it, and you say words to attack it, like, the reality of you feeling someone else's focus on you or intention towards you, that's not far-fetched. Like, do you remember one thing?
It's not though, because like I think it happens to everyone where you're hanging out with
Yeah.
certain people, or you're feeling fine out of a certain place. You enter a certain place, or you know you talk to someone, you just finish a conversation, and I don't know, like you just feel
I mean,
like
it's definitely a
all your
thing,
energy's been
especially when
taken
me
away.
and Alex were working at Palo.
Yeah, that wasn't like at some points like
There was a lot of moments where like we were just fucking
Yeah.
doing our own shit,
Yeah.
just having our own fucking fun, doing our own work,
Yeah.
and then like other people are just fucking
just kind
looking
of
at us.
sucking, you know,
Looking at
They
us
just
and
come
like
sucking
bothering us,
energy.
doing like snarky comments
Yeah.
for no fucking reason.
I don't know. It was just at Palace. It was very weird. Near the end of it, it was just like, you're feeling good, you're doing your shift, and out of nowhere, at the end, like you come into it good, feeling 110% like a fucking champion,
Yeah.
and you leave and you just feel like all of your energy is gone. You don't care about nothing. You don't want to hear about nothing. You don't want to see no one.
Yeah, 'cause
like
you're-
it's just, I don't know. It was just. Honestly, after that experience, I really do believe that like energies do exist, and
Yeah.
they can be drained from a person. Because I'm telling you, like, I don't know. It's
Especially,
really
yeah.
interesting, like how my mental state was balancing between all that, like feeling really good and
Yeah.
having a simple conversation or seeing someone or something, and like
Just turns into something else.
180
It's just,
completely.
Yeah.
completely
It's
weird.
nuts. I definitely believe in that for sure,
Yeah.
firsthand.
So like exactly
Yeah.
in person, dealing with bullshit draining you, that's real, 100%. Where this is like you got to take a couple of leaps, is we're talking at a distance and as something that other people can influence, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes a little bit more fucking magical. But I'm not 100% sure of what I think about this, but I know there's some things that I know, and I've pieced it together in my head from a conversation that I had like a year or so ago, and I think there's some kind of something there. It's neat. It's weird, definitely.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no, it's definitely unexplainable. Like,
the thing is, I'm kind of coming up with an explanation.
No, I know, but the
slowly.
thing is, like, you can't prove it with hard
Yeah,
facts,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but it's just like there is something, like, it's undeniable. But I don't know, like Buddhists, for example, like they can do some pretty interesting things,
Like
through
monks and
meditation and stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of parts of maybe not our brain, but I don't know, like we have apparently different energy in our body that flows, and we can't tap into them. Like, I've read into these things, whether it be true or not, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen like those videos online where the monks, the guy's getting hit by a hammer, or they're drilling into his head and it's not even piercing his skin.
Yeah, weird shit like that. I've seen
At a
that.
point, there was a study documentary where I forgot where exactly, but the monks, they're somewhere in the mountains where it would snow,
Yeah.
and they would put wet towels over them, and through meditation they would actually be able to increase their body heat, and they would start actually like venting out steam from the wet towels because their bodies were drying the towels through meditation. It's actually documented. So it's very interesting how like we can't do that shit. I can't increase my body temperature, through meditation, but it's crazy how they can
Yeah.
get to certain levels of pain thresholds and like body control through meditation. So there's for sure an energy field, I believe so. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
I've seen some of those things too. And
I don't know what to say anything. I don't know
No, I just wanted to
did
give
I
you-
lose you guys? Am
No, I was thinking
I
something
cracked or something?
I was just thinking something
didn't wanna
about
cut you
Buddha.
off.
Really,
That's
why.
Hit us with the Buddha thing. I didn't want to cut you off. That's why I wasn't saying.
No, cut me off. It's okay. I'll just continue on.
Take
It's
a
not a big
detour.
deal.
I'll tell it to him. Tell us that Naweid. Here's the fucking.
What, Buddha?
Yeah, whatever your tangent was.
I mean, it's just something about nihilism.
Do it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Hit me
go.
with the nihilism.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Huh?
Come on now.
Well, I mean, the whole thing how Buddhism started, I think, was how, because Buddha was born into royalty,
Okay.
and like his father was a king, and like he was also always sheltered. He was always sheltered around his like kingdom and stuff, and outside people were like poor and suffering. and then something in between. He ended up like so. Basically, he abandoned his like kingdom and stuff, and then he lived on the streets, and then he realized he was suffering when he was rich, and now he was suffering when he's poor, and then he realized like, oh, suffering comes from within and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then generally, like, nothing has a purpose. Type of way. That's how he came to fruition.
That's the reaction to that? Nothing has a purpose?
I forgot the whole story.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've delved into nihilism and stuff.
That kind of sucks. How does that tie into this business?
But I don't know. I was just thinking of Buddha and that came to my head.
Oh shit, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, there's a lot of, I mean, I don't know much about religion stuff of any sort. I took a couple of classes at some points in school, and I've done some reading on my own of things, but that's something that I think I kind of want to get into a bit more in the coming couple of years. I haven't been doing a whole lot of reading in general, but just touching on some other weird philosophies and kind of thinkings and stuff. What I like a lot is the stories about it. I'm a big kind of mythology and folk stuff nerd. I like stories of gods and characters and all this funny business. So yeah, no, it's cool stuff. And I don't know anything about it really. I've heard things here and there, but I don't really.
Well, Buddhism and nihilism is like two different things, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Kind of leads. Like, it comes with the thing.
They meet.
Purpose.
The paths meet somewhere.
Yeah.
Along the lines.
Like purpose and suffering kind of relate. And then, well, nihilism is like the meaning of like there's no meaning to life.
Yeah,
like,
my
no
understanding
purpose.
is
like,
that
you
yeah,
just,
there's no.
You just do what you do. But, like it doesn't mean anything in the world.
But what, like pure nihilism, why would you even do anything, no? Like, you do what you do, you know, but nothing means anything. Wouldn't, like, being super deep nihilism, you wouldn't even do shit, you would just
like,
kind of stare at a wall.
There's that.
Yeah.
There's, like, pure nihilism is like, fuck everything, there's no point, I'm just gonna exist.
Yeah,
just let life take me, whatever.
Yeah, you would just starve. You
but
would just still the second you decide you want to do that and just die. Like, fucking hurt.
There's also, like, well, it's like a perspective thing. It's like, you could also use nihilism to do whatever you want. It's like everything exists, so you could do whatever you want with that thing, even though there's no meaning to it.
Yeah, that takes a little. I feel like that should almost have a different name to it. Like that's got a bit.
There probably is a nihilism word for
like a bit more
genre or something. But
yeah, it's like that's with the intention of still. That seems like some kind of self-improvement thing you could even do. To some extent, you gotta realize that a lot of shit isn't important, and you have to shed the weight on your mind of like some people focus way too hard about fucking everything, you know, and they don't let themselves just do things sometimes. And if you're if that style of thinking is nihilistic, then I think that degree of it is important. Like everybody should have a bit of that. Everybody should have a little bit of fucking nothing matters kind of shit to just let them actually do things. If everything has to be perfectly fucking calculated, you know what I mean? You know, you're gonna move things real slow. Like you're gonna decide what you want to eat. Like everything, you know what I mean? Like if every little decision takes this much kind of working time, then this is what you could do. But you gotta work. You're only making like 6 big decisions in like your whole life, kind of thing. You know, like fucking figure it out a little bit. Sometimes just.
Yeah.
If you're calling that nihilism, then good. Fucking, you need a little bit of that. I thought there might have been a different word because of the utility of it, you know?
Yeah, so you could use nihilism to... Well, you could use a bunch of philosophies and stuff. Like the 3 ones I looked at was existentialism, absurdism, and nihilism. Existentialism is like life has a meaning, a purpose and a meaning, and like, you have to find it. Absurdism is like the nature of finding meaning in life is absurd in itself. So there's like... the idea of finding meaning is absurd.
Okay. And
nihilism is like there's actually no meaning, nothing matters.
The idea of finding meaning is absurd?
Yeah.
That's, but...
So like, finding meaning is like... It's like... It kind of leads to like, how do I word this? Absurdism... Trying to find meaning in life is like... beyond your capabilities, so there's no point, just have fun with life. Okay, yeah. See, that's also kind of important too. Yeah. There are some questions that you're never gonna fucking answer, right? Like maybe this fucking Mati thing is a stupid example, but it is one of those that you're probably never gonna, you know what I mean? And you don't gotta sit and harp on it. You don't need to find the meaning to why the fuck everything. It's kind of cute to think about, but as a
as a past thing. You got to recognize that it is kind of goofy and laugh at it the way that we did, kind of thing. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
Not everything. Some questions you're never going to be able to fucking answer. 90% of people.
Like listening to all this, it's interesting. Like, I don't know how someone can, you know, if it's your beliefs, so everyone's entitled to their own opinions, you know, and what they want to,
yeah,
you know, absorb and, you know, into their mindset. But I think like all these things are very good, but you know, like too much of one thing is not good. It's,
yeah.
You know, it's exactly that. Like you have to take bits and pieces of all these philosophies and I think merge them together at appropriate levels, you know, kind of like the Jehovah's Witnesses, you know.
No, I don't know.
Like you know, they take bits and pieces of the religion that they like and then you know put it together, you know.
Sure.
So that's you know.
What philosophy does
fucking erect the Jehovah's, dude. Let's go.
It was just an example of how they created their religion and they just like, you know, changed some things and mixed some things. It wasn't to
I mean,
to attack.
Like what philosophy does for me, it's like it kind of gives you like guidance.
Sorry, Jehovah's, if anyone's Jehovah.
Jehovah.
There's like 10 people that watch this one. Who gives a shit? We're good. No disrespect. Every religion's taking pieces from other ones.
I love it.
Yeah, what were you in the middle of? Where's your...
Oh, I was saying the purpose of like, well, my purpose of philosophy is like finding guidance in life. Because it kind of, like, you grow up, your fucking purpose is, oh, I gotta get a good job, I have to maintain a family, I have to set up my future generation.
Yeah, some of like westernized kind of, well, not even West, that's like pretty much everywhere, but just, yeah, some kind of set in stone kind of fucking
like,
rules.
It's society's ideals.
Yeah, those are good words, yeah.
And then, with nihilism, you could be like, I actually don't care about any of those things, and it doesn't matter to me at all. And nothing matters, so I just want to make music and make people happy.
But see, that is something that matters, though. Then that's why it's not. I guess
it's perspective, man. It's point of view. I guess.
But see, that I agree with what you said. But nihilism, I don't think it's being used there just to get you like out of one thing and into another. Like it's used as a tool, and I like that. I think pure nihilism sounds like actual bullshit. But the way that you framed it makes a lot of sense because you're using it as a way to distance yourself from like things that don't make sense to you. So it's a way to be like, that shit doesn't matter, fuck off. But I think too deep into nihilism, that's not what that is. That's being smart and doing something that makes sense to you. Nihilism, like actually straight up is fucking retarded, I think. Because I don't think that would be, I'm gonna change from this path to that path. It would be, I'm standing in the middle of the road and sitting on the floor and that's it. Like that's nihilism as I understand it, and that's like dumb.
I'm using nihilism as a cope mechanism.
It's a tool. No, you're using.
I'm on copium.
You're using the philosophy. You're using like what you understand from the philosophy to help it like move you from.
Yeah. Well, because how I came about it was like I came about it through IO.
Yeah.
It was like a influential person in my life. He's a music DJ. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Io.
Yeah, he had, because his thing was, he had another project, because he went about, his first name was called Fox.
Okay.
F-A-W-K. And that was his first project.
It's kind of edgy, yeah.
And
like Guy Fawkes kind of thing, right?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
He was a big V for Vendetta fan for some reason.
I was too. That shit was cool.
It was a good movie.
I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I liked it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And then he had this project, and it kind of wasn't going anywhere. He was just like a mediocre DJ. He was just like playing like lineups and stuff, touring the world, and it didn't amount to everything. It was kind of like having air conditioner on. And it's just in the background. It's just in the background.
Okay, I understand the
and then
the analogy.
So he came about having these new ideas and stuff. And then it was the IO project. That was his new idea. And he told it to his friend, and his friend's like, "Hey, you should totally do this." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, but if I leave this other thing, I'm gonna lose everything I have. Like I'm not gonna have income. I'm not gonna have like a place to, like I have to start from the bottom again."
Yeah.
And then, so back to Fox, he wanted to release like a track he wanted to get signed up for Mousetrap, which is Deadmau5's label.
Mm-hmm.
And he got denied, and like everything was falling apart at that point. So like, he's just like, okay, dude, fuck this, and like he delved into nihilism, and he's like, nothing fucking matters, and then he's like, well, if nothing matters and I have nothing going for me, I could just start this IO project.
Just do what I want to do.
Yeah, just do what I want to do, what I feel is right, and have this satirical take on the music industry. And then IO was born, and like it became like a huge success.
Because that was his authentic self. That's what people look for. Well, I mean, you can't say that's what people look for, but I think there is. I don't know, dude. I think you could. Maybe I have a good kind of radar for it, but authenticity in things feels good when you recognize it, you know? And there's something that you could kind of like project. Like you could, there's attitudes and there's ways that people could kind of go about. Like you could see someone and be like, this person knows what the fuck, you know what I mean? There's kind of, like that's a thing too socially. People that know what the fuck they're doing, or people that have some degree of confidence, or just kind of self-understanding, or just honesty or whatnot. Like that's something that you could perceive, right? That's not far-fetched to say. There's I think I have like a pretty good fucking radar for shit like that, and I think that ties into this, which on a larger scale, like someone with some degree of celebrity doing the thing that is actually their fucking thing, and that being received better, and that being some kind of like freeing and some kind of like allowance to grow in a way that, you know, is just, it's because it's you being at your best. The truer you are to yourself, that's where like all the best improvement can happen, because you're actually following the best trajectory, you know what I mean? Because that's what if you could recognize what you want and kind of tackle at that, any success there is the best possible, because the honesty that's implied in there, because of the reality of it, that's actually your path, you know, and you're setting it apart from the rest of this shit. It's cool, and you could kind of, I don't know, I feel like you could kind of spot that socially a little bit with people, maybe not, I don't know, I'm kind of fucking froofing it up a little bit with whatever, but people's attitudes and the way that people act and their kind of personalities and whatnot, you can kind of pick up off that and react to that and things, you know? And I think,
well, I mean, you can see that
there's a fakeness and shit.
You can see that in like Concordia. It's like you compare JMSB students to,
at school, you mean? Yeah.
To art students.
Yeah.
You can see like the fakeness and like the networking that you're trying to build up with people and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have like the art students who are just doing what they like and stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely like a different kind of vibe in the air with when people are grouped like that, especially like in programs at school. You could definitely, if you're in one thing, you take an elective to another thing, it's like you're in a whole other world when you're talking to some of these other people. You're like, what the fuck, you know? Because it's all these.
It could be an ego thing too, though.
Yeah, explain.
Well, I mean, like, they know that, oh, you know, JMSB, it's business school, you know, it's prestigious, this and that. Like, to get there, you know, you're planning and hoping to be somebody one day, you know.
Yeah.
So right there, it comes with a level of, like, it comes with an ego level, you know, that just being in there, and I think it just gets amplified through, because the route that it takes to become a businessman is money, you know. So in the end of the day, you know, I'm not saying you're going to become greedy, but like greed plays into it. So I just think like the more money you have, you know, the more greedy you get, the more egotistical you become. Yeah. You know, like your ego does get raised. Not saying it'll consume you and it'll control you, but it does get raised to a certain point. And I think that's why sometimes like it's a very different take on when you visit, like, let's say the art students compared to the JMSB students.
I'm not saying all JMSB students.
No, not all of them, but it does have that effect.
All art students are like because Alex's friend goes to JMSB and he's a chill ass fucking dude.
Yeah.
And then, but like with JMSB, there's like a clear intention of like, it's like a MMO. You're trying to progress. You're trying to find the next connection, the next next tier, the next.
Good analogy.
With art, you're just kind of challenging yourself.
Well, yeah, there's a lot less rules. Yeah. You're just working on a craft kind of thing. And exploring imagination, which I think is super important.
It is. I don't think there's enough creativity in today's like schools, like how they teach and stuff too.
Yeah, it's one thing that I recognize personally that I lost a bit during like I was always, I don't know, when I was a kid I was always drawing and stuff and coming up and doing like making up stories and all these things. I really like video games and movies and kind of coming up with my own little worlds. I was in my head a lot. I was always making up stories kind of thing. That was just my thing. And as you kind of go through the growing up a little bit and whatnot, and playing kind of different parts that you're supposed to, you know, you can kind of lose that a little. And I recognized, especially during a couple of years when I was, I didn't have any creative kind of endeavors anywhere. A lot of my spare time was just spent kind of hanging out, going to bars a lot, drinking, fucking just partying and things. And I look back at that and it's like, I didn't do anything that I considered to be creative there. And I really lost that chunk of myself that used to be kind of my most defining kind of characteristic a little bit. Like, it was still there, but I didn't give it any chance to kind of, not to say that it was a wholly negative. I loved the time that I spent fucking hanging out and partying a lot. There's good and bad to it. I have a pretty perfect understanding of what it is that those years were to me and how it is to move past that moving forward, and like the adjustments that I needed to make considering where I was and where I want to be kind of thing. But the creativity definitely was something at a loss. Something that I gained though a lot. I gained a lot of kind of, I don't know, you gain, you know, just like with anything.
Do you think the loss of your creativity was due to how society is being pushed towards?
No. What I'm saying is specifically the behaviors that I was engaging in, the way that I was living, just all the spare time that I was doing was just hanging out.
Okay.
A lot of just drinking, going to bars.
Because I'm saying you lost that creativity.
No, it's still there. I just didn't give it any chance to do anything.
Oh, okay.
You know?
I thought you lost it. Like
no,
it left you.
No.
Like you became less creative and like you lost a bit of that side.
Well, there's years where I recognized that I did nothing creative other than like create, you know. No, nothing. I really did nothing creative at all. Like, whereas it used to be all the time, I used to be always sitting around drawing and fucking doing kind of shit like that. And I had ideas of things that I wanted to kind of bring together and whatnot.
Okay.
And there was a couple of years where I just wasn't doing that at all. And what I'm just kind of adding to that a little bit is that it's not all lost, because what I was kind of improving at other ways, you know. I grew socially during those times, for example. Made a lot of fucking friends, had a lot of good times, grew my emotional kind of intelligence grew a lot during those times. I got to, I don't know, there was an openness in just kind of the hangouts and a little bit of becoming a little bit more comfortable with myself as a human being. So like that part of me grew, you know. Yeah, like I remember the first time I was hanging out with like a group of friends. And I actually said, I was like, you know, like, I fucking love you guys, actually. And I remember the first time that I said that. Like, because there was 20 fucking some odd years, right? Where, like, even that level of just kind of, you know, comfort emotionally just wasn't there. And that was in those years of the partying a lot, hanging out with a lot of fucking people. Even though there's the layers of, you know, maybe you're hammered or you're whatever and shit, that did kind of, like, some things were unlocked with social kind of shit and just feeling bonds with people in a more real sense. But in my own head, creative stuff during that time was completely on the back burner. And I think now I'm at a kind of more balanced spot, which feels really nice, where I'm doing me time, doing other people time, and I'm kind of trying to fix it in. Right now, I've also worked in kind of fitness things a little bit. I'm trying to be healthier. There's things, and doing the video game analogy is actually super good too, I think, especially considering like playing MMOs and shit. There's the skills, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of life, like the reason these video games make so much sense is because of how well they emulate real life kind of things. And in real life, there's skills and things that you know, and skills and abilities and whatnot that you have. And working at them or not working at them, focusing on one or not focusing on another, specializing, kind of min-maxing and whatnot, your time in real life actually is very similar to how that works in those things. And I just know that like creative bar was untouched for like 5 years, but like, you know, fucking the money making, they're like money, right? Like my personal economy was like doing good, you know, kind of thing. And then like social shit, fucking sick, like friends kind of list things and fucking like a lot of very real tie-ins to kind of game stuff. And I was thinking about that a little bit too. But you always got to recognize like where you're going and what directions, the kind of paths, where that might take you and whether or not you want to be there, you know, a little bit.
Well, that's like kind of the beauty of the quarantine, because it kind of just broke you down and started you from nothing.
Yeah, kind of.
Because what you like doing was going to bars and hanging out with friends, and that put a stop to it. Or for me, it was like going to raves, going to the gym, and hanging out with friends. That stopped. So then you're just left with like, what do I do now?
For me, it just lets you reevaluate everything and just like understand what's truly important and what actually matters, instead of what you thought really did. Well, at least that was for me, you know.
No, like, I totally agree with you guys. With my personal thing, I was already moving out. I was already phasing out the party all the time shit before this. I had like a major personal reconstructive kind of period where there was like I was already deciding to do that shit less, and I did the work every day thing for like, there was a 6 months between two jobs. I was working every single day. Like I had like 2 days off at a point, like over 6 months, so I was just working fucking 2 jobs and shit, like working hard. That was my self-destruction kind of recreating thing. But yeah, no, quarantine definitely in a more,
Okay, well, for me it was quarantine.
It was quarantine. Yeah. But quarantine for sure. I think it probably did help you in a way, because you get your boxing now. You know, you're out more I think now probably like you're more well-rounded in terms of like combining everything, you know.
Yeah.
It allowed people just to like, I don't know, reorganize themselves, I think, you know.
No, and I'm totally on the same page with you guys on that, and I see the positivity in it. I just wanted to add the extra little bit that for my own personal kind of journey thing, there was already a hard stop of that shit that I self-imposed, where I just decided I'm just gonna work all the fucking time, and then I'm just gonna be too exhausted to do anything. I'd stopped going to school, and I just worked every day for like 6 months. Between 2 jobs every single day, and then I dropped those 2. I took on another job, regular 9 to 5, 5 day a week thing for a couple of years, and in that period I phased out the going out all the time shit. But then quarantine came after that, and that was a whole other fucking layer. But yeah,
this moment, the moment that touched your change, like that moment that. We all have a moment that started that.
Something brought you to that crossroads where like I gotta change lane, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little scrap that I got into with a very close friend of mine from those days. Little scrappy do there. It was good though. It was big in the moment, but there was so much love still there that like 3 days later we were hanging out again.
Okay.
But then the seed was kind of in the head of like, changes need to be made here, and they weren't made for a while, but there was a change in trajectory there. But again, a part of me not wanting to get out of that was, for one, it's very easy, at least for me, to just hang out all the time and just be a fucking degenerate in those ways, you know. Like, it's hilarious, it's great, but I also really like the way that I'm speaking positively about it now in retrospect. I also felt that positivity while it was happening, if not a million times more. Like the camaraderie and the community and stuff that came with that kind of direction of lifestyle was so fucking good. It was so nice, dude. I love all those people. I love all those fucking people. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful.
That's the thing too. You can find the exact same type of like emotional feeling and connection towards with any other groups too that you do take on,
100%, yeah.
Fitness groups, whether it be gaming groups, whether you play golf with your buddies, you know.
But there's
you can find that in everything, you know. So it doesn't have to be specifically just down that road.
100%. But there's a level of like how real you allow yourself to be once you lower your inhibitions through kind of drinking whatever stupidities. Like there was like there
is a layer that you know, it's like
everybody was just so fucking exactly what they needed to be, you know. Everything, it was just perfect. Every fucking,
it's like, to get to the underworld you have to go on the boat there, you know. The Greek mythology, they get picked up. That's what it is. The alcohol's the boat. It takes you on a little ride.
I'm pretty good with that shit just regular, but you can't. I don't know. Those days were special. Those days were special in a lot of fucking ways.
Yeah.
Necessary to get you to where you are. Yeah. At least for me, yeah. Like,
no, definitely.
You can't have improved if you weren't worse. Right?
Yeah. So that's what happened with me at first when we wanted to go to a New City Gas. It's a nightclub. Well, I wouldn't really consider it a nightclub, but let's just call it a nightclub.
Yeah, it's
more
like
a rave-ish, you know. Yeah. It's more ravey.
It's like a warehouse rave.
But yeah, I never wanted to go per se, you know. And Naweid here and my cousin always told me, come on, you know, let's go, you'll have fun. But it was just never my thing, you know. I never wanted to give it the chance.
Yeah.
And I do have a small bit of social anxiety, so I don't like to be too bunched up, you know, when there's a lot of people around, too many people, you know. So I was putting it off. So the first time I went, it was okay. It was okay.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
There had to be some like.
It was fun, but it was disastrous in a fun way.
It was a wormhole.
Yeah. Second time, better. Third time, then the fourth time was at the Elefante show, where I don't know, but like I finally just broke through that, you know, and I felt so good, and I was finally like just getting through everything. I'm just like, wow, this is like. I can do this. Is, you know, it's kind of cool. I'm having more fun. Like every other time I always had that feeling in my head where I was like, this is not me. I don't belong here. Like I feel awkward being here, you know.
It's not your
but just that day, for some reason, I don't know. I walked in there and it just all clicked, you know. And I'm like, wow. Like if I didn't come here, like I wouldn't have broken that kind of boundary with like being in places like that, you know.
Exactly.
So to me, that's definitely a good experience, you know.
These experiences, they sort of like catalysts to other things.
Yeah.
Like, for me, New City Gas, it kind of opened my love for music, and then I delved into music production and stuff. So yeah, there's always positive experiences through past experiences.
At the end of the day, boys, you are what you do, right?
Well, I think every experience is positive. Like maybe not every, but a lot of experience, even negative ones, you can learn from them and you can understand. You know, so even if it's not positive, it's still later on in life, like. Your experiences, like 9 out of 10 times, will serve you in the future.
That's what a chunk of what I'm saying now. When stuff was happening, these aren't like in the moment thoughts. My brain isn't fucking processing shit. This is in retrospect. Like I had a chance to think about it. I had an idea of where the conversation was gonna go. So like words are kind of coming in a way. But if there's any thought that like I'm thinking this fucking clear and like well, you know, in the no, dude. This is like when you're just doing whatever the fuck you're doing, when you're in it, you don't have a perfect understanding of it, but you're building up something, and then then you move away from it and you can look back and kind of reassess and see what's good, what's bad, and how to move. You have to have those moments of kind of introspectiveness, you know, and looking in and stuff. But a lot of what it is that I'm talking about as far as decisions, lifestyle things, and this is and that, they didn't happen up until like there was a lot of time where I was just doing the same shit before recognizing that I wanted to change something, you know, here and there. And that's the way that it has to work, 100%. Unless you're like crazy fucking supercomputer processing brain that every single decision is immediately perfectly analyzed.
That's why I think it's important that a lot of like people, it doesn't have to be, you know, like a certain thing has to happen to do it. But I think everyone should eventually like take some time off for themselves, you know, like take that vacation. Take some time to sit back, reflect, like, you know, take 2-3 weeks, go to Cuba, something cheap, you know, just chill, just like release that stress and like think about other stuff. And you know, because every time you're going through the motion, like you said, always partying and going to bars, it doesn't give you much time to think about other things. So you just become consumed by it. So I think it's good sometimes just to like branch out from society and just like go vacation, do your own thing, you know, close your Instagram for a few weeks sometimes, or just, you know, don't go on it at all. Just deplug and think about stuff and understand what you're doing, what you're going through, and where you want to be. And I think it's like the way to go, because I didn't really do that before. And I was like, okay, you know, like I was getting there, but I think this is better, where you step back and you just process everything, you know, you give yourself a chance to catch up and understand what's happening. You know, because you're going through the motion, like you said, but you're processing it later. So I think it's good to definitely take some time off and just think about life's choices for everyone, you know, at any given time. I don't know. What do you think?
True.
I agree.
I mean, self-reflection is
it's very important.
Speaking of going, boys, where the fuck are we going anyways?
Oh, I have no idea.